Ubuntu was my first date with Linux 20 years ago. What the hell was I thinking? Just kidding. Alright, all jokes aside, I do want to thank Team Ubuntu for 20 years of Linux. It's because of Ubuntu that I'm still here doing this, trying different forms of Linux, including, of course, Ubuntu, Linux Mint, Chromebooks, and others. So thank you, Team Ubuntu. Now, let's take a look at the operating system that sounds like a power drink. Yeah, give me a shot of Ubuntu Red Bull, please. Alright, so this is the default desktop here. So where do I begin with this? Before we talk about terminal commands, let's do a good and bad. Let's do the good first. Ubuntu, being that this is a preview release, so you should not install this if you are a Windows user unless you know what you're doing. I installed this on a separate drive, two separate drives with Windows 11. Here we have the separate drive with Windows. And this is how I chose to do it. If you don't know what you're doing and you've never done this before, be careful. You could accidentally erase Windows if you don't want to. If you wanted to try this, I recommend a separate machine. ThinkPads work great with Linux. I have several ThinkPads. I've never had a problem installing Linux on a ThinkPad. So if you wanted to try Ubuntu or something else, a separate machine, probably the safest and best way to go. There are many refurbished ThinkPads on Amazon to choose from. Alright, let's go into the good. Being that this is a preview release, not a final product, this is the feature freeze version of Ubuntu. This feels pretty good. It feels polished. It works the way it should. The installation process I thought was pretty good. Very good, actually. These are some of the screenshots here. And I did not have any problems installing the latest version, the preview version of Ubuntu. So if you want to install this as a Windows user for the first time, you should not have any issues with the installation process. But keep in mind, there may be bugs, and there is at least one bug I will show you later. This runs pretty good on my Ryzen 7 refurbished HP. I am running, I bought a used, I think a 4-year-old HP with the Ryzen 7 processor. And these are my specs here. Ryzen 7 5700G, integrated graphics. Of course, Ubuntu Resolute Raccoon, the development branch, again for testing only. Maxed out with 32 gigs of RAM. System details. I did notice that Ubuntu runs pretty fast. As fast as my fresh install of Windows 11. Now, GNOME is not really a lightweight system to be running Linux on. However, on this particular machine, I can tell you that if you have something similar or faster, Ubuntu should run just as fast as Windows 11, and a tweaked Windows 11 for me runs fast. On an older machine, I can tell you that Windows 11 ran faster than Ubuntu. On this machine, I did not notice any speed difference. So this is the good. This is surprisingly stable and fast for a pre-beta version of Ubuntu. Now let's get to the bad. Alright, so I took some screenshots. I wanted to install the GNOME extension menu, app menu, category menu, which I think a Windows user would find this quite helpful. However, when I opened up Firefox and went to gnomeextensions.org, I came up with an error message. You have to install the GNOME shell extension, which I did. I came up with a second error message. I installed that one. Yet another error message. I had to use a terminal command to fix this. I believe that command was sudo apt install GNOME extension connector, GNOME shell connector, or something like that. This is not a bug. This is just, I guess, a feature of Ubuntu which has not changed, which is kind of weird. Again, if you are a newbie to all this coming from Windows, this is not particularly very helpful. I don't mind doing this after 20 years. I've come to expect this, but if you are brand new to all this, yeah, it's kind of annoying. Another thing, if we go to let's go to settings. I have a shortcut here, and if we go to power, or as Arnold would say, I need more power. Okay. Right here, screen blank or screen timeout. The maximum delay is 15 minutes. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and so on. That's less than Windows. That's not user-friendly. I would like at least an hour delay, if not more. Again, you have to use a terminal command. And that terminal command is this. It's gsettings set org .gnome desktop session idle delay. Now this is the amount of seconds. So I think there are 3,600 seconds in an hour, which if we go back to the power settings, that'll give you the hour. And you can change this. If you want 2 hours, you just double that to 7,200 seconds and so on. But it should be a little bit more user-friendly than that. Again, this is just 2 of at least 6 terminal commands I used to get Ubuntu up and running for new users. Another bunch of terminal commands was Flatpak. I had to use another 2 or 3 terminal commands to get Flatpaks up and running to make this thing more user-friendly. It shouldn't be this way in this day and age. This is how Ubuntu does things. It's overcomplicated, and it doesn't have to be this way. And this is why I say, if you are a newbie to the world of Linux, don't start with Ubuntu. I don't think this will be for you. Now, after you gain some experience or if you like to tinker, then maybe Ubuntu is for you. All right, this is just another screenshot here of the install process. As you can see here, sudo apt install GNOME software plugin for Flatpak. Again, I don't mind doing this. I've come to expect this, but again, if you are a newbie, this to me is not user-friendly. And another thing, I wanted to, what did I download? I downloaded the app image version of Kdenlive. It did not work. It would not launch. I had to use another terminal command, as you see here, and I think it works. Let me see. All right, Kdenlive app image. Let me double click this. Hey, it works. It did not work before. But again, if you are a newbie to all this, you are not going to know that. Now, one thing I have not tested is hooking up my Android phone, Samsung phone, to Ubuntu. I would not be surprised if hooking up a Linux-based phone to a Linux-based system, the two will not connect. I'll probably have to install something else. How ironic. But again, I've come to expect that. I don't mind. It's kind of annoying, but if you are new to all this, look, I'm just trying to make this easier for Windows users because I don't want you to say that Linux sucks, because that would not be a fair statement. All right, if I launch Firefox, there is a bug, and let me show you that bug. This is a screenshot of the top right on the panel, the icons here. What's missing? No sound. When I launch Firefox, I lose my sound. I can confirm that installing a Brave, Chrome, and Mulvad browser does not have this problem. So just a quick heads up, you may run into this problem. Again, this is the testing version of Ubuntu. This does not surprise me having bugs. It's just kind of a weird bug. So what else could I say about this preview version for Ubuntu? It feels great. It's surprisingly fast, considering it has the GNOME desktop environment, not the lightest of Linux, but it works fine, at least on this particular processor. Pleasantly surprised. I like it. I'll probably keep it. But for Windows or Linux newbies, Ubuntu should not, absolutely not be your first destination for Linux. It's just not quite as user-friendly as, say, Linux Mint or even a Chromebook, where you never have to use a terminal command.